Hey guys, what's up? It's Charlie here, and today we're going to be looking at 10 real ghosts caught on tape. So, we've seen many photos of ghosts, but photos can easily be faked. Videos, on the other hand, can provide better evidence of the paranormal. So check out these videos and let me know at the end if you think ghosts are real or not. But first, why not subscribe and press the notification bell too? Coming in at number 10, we have Sleep Spirit. So this video is incredibly scary and realistic. It was filmed in 2016 in India. Do you ever experience sleep paralysis or a nightmare? Well, this guy lived it in real life. The video shows two men sleeping on beds. Everything is normal until all of a sudden one of the men's legs rise up in the air. It's as if he's being pulled by something, but nothing is there. The man doesn't even realize at first until his legs get very high. He then finally wakes up and sees what's going on. He freaks out and struggles and his legs go back down. He then looks around the room to see what was going on, but he can't see a thing. During this time, his roommate stays asleep. The guy then checks outside his room to see if anyone else was doing this. But of course, as we can see from the CCTV, this was nobody. This has led some to say it must have been a ghost. I can't explain how else this guy's legs went up like that. He couldn't have been doing it himself, as he was clearly being pulled by something, and his reaction seemed incredibly realistic. What would you do if this happened to you? I don't think I'd ever be able to sleep again. Next up is Ghost Shop. So this video is taken in Whitstable, UK. It was captured on security footage, and this wouldn't have even been shared if it weren't for a customer having a paranormal experience and telling the staff about it. Then all of a sudden some boxes of tea bags rise off a shelf, and then further on down the shelf something else happens to other boxes of tea bags. It seems this ghost really likes tea. Nobody who goes to the shop or works in the shop is sure what happened. Some say it was a ghost, while others say it was simply something else. However, those who say it wasn't a ghost can't put their finger on what. However, those who say it wasn't a ghost can't say what it actually was. It looks incredibly mysterious, and the shop apparently said their sales hadn't gone down. If anything, their sales had actually gone up from this, as it made the shop kind of famous. The people who run the shop are an elderly couple, hardly able to edit ghostly videos. And seeing as they were recording their security footage, you can actually hear their reaction. They seem incredibly shocked and confused, especially the woman. Check out the video and let me know what you think was going on here. Some say the ghost may have been of an elderly resident in their village. They say a lot of old people come in for tea, so perhaps that's the case. But take a look at their very scary footage and let me know what you think.
This guy here, watch behind his head.
What?
Keep watching. Just look at the shelf. It's the weirdest thing.
Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, what is that?
It's just flowing, I don't know.
Oh my god. Oh my god, that looks like a poltergeist or something like that. You know, when they hear about things like flying, oh my god, I don't like that, I don't like that.
Weirdest thing.
Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, what is that?
It's just flowing, I don't know.
Oh my god. Oh my god, that looks like a poltergeist or something like that.
Next up is Ghostly Player. So this footage is impossible to fake. This is because it was literally taken from a live TV station. One day a few years back, a soccer match was being played in Saudi Arabia. Two teams were going head to head on the field with a stadium full of fans. and many people were watching at home on their TVs. That was when all of a sudden the shadow of a player appeared. It appears like this dark, mysterious figure ran onto the field as if he was playing too. But of course this isn't just a substitute teammate, but seems more like a ghost. After it appears, it quickly disappears. But it still led to many arguments about whether this is real or fake. Personally, I think it looks incredibly realistic. Not only because of its looks, but also because it was literally broadcast live on TV. And it would be incredibly hard to fake something live. The only thing that doesn't add up is none of the other players seem to notice it. But that could have been because they had their head in the game. Or perhaps this is a ghost which only appears in photographs. This is a common trait of ghosts, and many say that ghosts can only appear on camera. Next up is Graveyard Girl. So, for the record, I'm not talking about this Graveyard Girl. No, the one we're looking at today is far, far creepier. A group of people are in their apartment, which happens to be located above a graveyard. They're looking out of their window and all of a sudden they spot something odd in the graveyard. A pale girl in white robes can be seen walking around. She wanders around and crouches down looking at all the different graveyards. The people are very freaked out and say it's creepy. But despite this big group of people shouting at her, she doesn't seem fazed at all. The ghost girl continues walking around the graveyard, minding her own business. The guys in the apartment then say, hang on a minute, now she knows where we live. It's clear these guys are very scared and are watching something in real time, not something edited in later. After a short while, the girl walks behind a tombstone, but then she's never seen again. That's right, this girl vanishes as soon as she steps behind the tombstone. The other guys are asking how on earth this happened. And according to them, they filmed out the window for another half hour. But no matter how long they waited for, this girl never came back. What do you think this girl's deal is? She looks almost a bit too quintessential to be a ghost. But then again, this is very convincing and spooky footage, so check it out.
I've been recording the whole time. Yo, me and Eon seen this walking through the cemetery, blowing it, running through the cemetery and landed on a tombstone.
Yeah, she was blowing it. She landed on a tombstone. She was blowing it. Hey, what you doing, girl?
Crazy.
Yo, what? Yo, I think, yo, what?
She went behind that tombstone right there, right in front of my finger.
Yo.
Next up is Ghostly Crossings. So this video was very scary and was taken in 2016 at 2 AM in Mexico City. It's security footage from a large road named Paso de la Reforma. It seems normal from a first glance, but look closely at the crosswalk. You'll clearly be able to make out a typical ghost girl. The girl looks like something straight out of a horror movie with long white clothing and dark black hair. But at the same time, this clip is very realistic, and you'll see why. Many cars speed right through this ghost. So this ghost obviously wasn't visible to drivers, otherwise they would have stopped. At least I hope so. But what's odd is how realistic this is. It's clear someone simply hasn't overlaid this ghost clip onto a real video. That is because the cars go in front and behind this girl. During the time when the car's in the way, the girl can't be seen and vanishes behind the car. So there must be some truth to this clip. And as Mexico City is the murder capital of the world, maybe it makes sense for ghosts to be around here. Do you think this could be a real ghost or not? Next up is Woodland Spirit. There's nowhere creepier than the woods. They're usually out of the way and nobody can hear you scream. That is why many horror movies and real crimes take place in the woods. But another thing woods are known for is paranormal activity. Just take Slenderman for example, or even Bigfoot. Okay, they may be fiction, but on many real occasions, mysterious videos have been captured in the woods. One day a guy was hiking around his woods and was vlogging it. However, it was only until he was editing his vlog when he saw something strange. On the left side of his footage appears to be a ghost running into frame. It only runs into the shot for a few moments and then runs right back out. But it seems incredibly realistic. Many people in the comments actually say that this is one of the most realistic ghost footages they've ever seen. The guy said he didn't realize it at the time. Maybe this could only be captured on camera and not seen with human eyes. There are many theories about this, from it being some kind of monster to a child. Apparently a child passed away in the woods nearby here. But some skeptics say this could simply be a plastic bag, an animal, or editing. Take a look at the video and let me know what you think. Many people say this is definitely real. Are you one of them, or do you think it's fake? Next up is Museum Ghost. So we've all seen Night at the Museum. It's where old artifacts come to life. Well, it turns out that movie may not be all fiction. This piece of surveillance footage was taken at Torquay Museum in the UK. Two employees are getting ready for the day. That is when all of a sudden some leaflets fly off the shelf. The two employees talk about this and question what happened. They're suspicious, so they stay away from it for a while. That is until the museum's researcher David Willis goes over to research what happened. But as he walks over to the leaflets, more fly off the shelf. This time they're both very freaked out and don't know what's going on. However, they don't totally freak out. At first they both thought it was the other one playing a prank, and then they thought that perhaps wind came in from a window and blew these leaflets. But when they checked the surveillance footage, they saw this wasn't the case. The leaflets clearly fly off the shelf all by themselves. But that's not the only odd thing to happen in Torquay Museum. A few months prior to this, a photo of a ghost in the museum went viral. The ghost looks very scary and appears to be a pale woman. And believe it or not, even more weird stuff has happened in this museum. 4 years ago, staff found anonymous fingerprints on the inside of a mummy case. The weird thing is, this case hadn't been opened in 8 years, and nobody has any idea how they got the fingerprints on the inside. Perhaps it was the same one that was caught on camera and the same one that knocked the leaflets off the shelf. Either way, remind me not to go to this museum anytime soon. No offense, Torquay Museum, I just really don't want to be creeped out, or find myself trapped inside a mummy case. Next up is Brookside Theatre. One type of places which are always rumoured to be haunted are theatres. This is often because the people who work inside them are very superstitious. Hence the reason why actors call Macbeth the Scottish play. Well, perhaps it's not just a bunch of crazy actors, and some of these theatres really are haunted. One day, the owners of the Brookside Theatre in Romford, UK came in to find something strange. Many chairs had been knocked over and it looked like the place had been ransacked. But when they checked the security footage, they saw something more terrifying. This footage was recorded at 4 in the morning on a Sunday. The weird thing is, the night before they just had a psychic on stage. So maybe the psychic spawned this paranormal being. Either way, chairs begin to move and flip over and everything is very odd. And to back things up, that psychic even said he felt a presence as he was doing his show. Then again, he is a psychic, so take that with a pinch of salt. But it does seem pretty hard to fake this video. There's clearly no strings or ropes moving these chairs, so what could be doing it? This footage quickly went viral and now the theatre's famous worldwide, and people now come from all over the world to try and find the Romford Theatre ghost. One of the theatre workers named Guy says this ghost is totally harmless, but it is real. If this theatre's smart, they'll try and work it into their acts. Next up is Ghost Friend. Have you ever had a friend pass away? If so, you know it's a terrible feeling and you wish you could see them again. Well, this happened to one boy in Jamaica, but he never saw his friend again. On the other hand, however, he did feel his friend again. That is because his friend came back as a ghost to haunt him. The boy in Jamaica is apparently now pushed around by his friend 24/7. Despite his friend passing away a few months ago, apparently he's come back in ghost form. The Jamaican boy is often pushed around, and on many nights his friends and neighbors come around to see him and try and bless him to get rid of the ghost. You can see his arms and legs being pulled wildly. And as he talked to one news reporter, he was even thrown out of his seat. It's clear he's not doing this himself, as something has to be pulling him. Nobody could make their arm look like that otherwise. And other people in his neighborhood have confirmed his friend did in fact pass away pretty recently. What do you think is going on here? Is this guy pulling a major prank, or is his friend really coming back as a ghost to haunt him? I'm not sure why his friend would want to haunt him. Maybe this friend was more of an enemy. But either way, can you imagine how annoying it would be having a ghost follow you and push you 24/7? His whole Jamaican village believes this, but do you? Check out the footage and let me know.
she sees the ghost standing near the wall and goes over to stand next to it.
Touch her? Tell me when I touch her. Am I touch her? Am I touch her foot? In the yeah, what?
Next up is Ghost Bar. So, all of this footage was recorded in Sydney, Australia at a bar called Carlisle Castle Bar. One of the employees of the bar used to be called Pete, but Pete passed away. However, it appears Pete's spirit is still with the bar today. That is because so far there have been 3 instances of Pete being caught on security cameras. The first time this happened, an employee was helping a customer. That was when suddenly 2 wine bottles fell to the floor. You can see the shelf didn't move or give way, and it appears somebody literally took these wine bottles off the shelf and threw them on the ground. The weird thing is, these wines were Pete's favorite brands. The next video is also very creepy and even sinister too. There are many people at the bar, including employees. Then all of a sudden a wine glass hanging from above crashes down right by the server. It seems like Pete selected this one as it was right above the server. This may show that perhaps Pete slightly resents the bar, or maybe Pete has something against the woman working there. And finally, on the most recent piece of footage, we actually get to see Pete. The bar is empty and this footage was taken after close. You can see a white figure pass by the camera, but then it appears to realize the camera and begins waving. It really does seem like Pete is trying to communicate with the employees. Who knows, maybe he has unfinished business by the bar, or perhaps he's trying to warn them of something. Either way, these videos are very creepy and realistic. It would be one thing for this to happen once, but the fact there's 3 different videos showing all kinds of ghostly things is very scary. Do you think this is real? Leave a comment letting me know. Check out the poll in the top right corner to vote for the scariest ghost footage on this list. I think it's gotta be Graveyard Girl, as that is seriously weird, and to this day unexplained as well. If you want more cool videos, check out my second channel. There'll be a video for that on screen in a moment. But as always, thanks for watching. Check out some more videos on screen right now, leave a like if you enjoyed, and if you haven't already, what you're waiting for, subscribe to Top 10s.